Good Tuesday afternoon, everyone. I hope that this Tuesday finds you doing well. Before you come to that, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video. So, there's going to be a lot of information coming out today. We are speaking about the 5 brands of jewelry that contain demonic connotations as well as demonic symbols and things like that. Some of them might surprise you. And I just come across this on YouTube and I felt like, wow, I never knew that, things of this nature, with jewelry existed. But I'm about to enlighten you here on these 5 brands. And some of them may surprise you, some of them may not, but it's just all about getting that word out there. Hey, Laura, welcome in and letting you know the dangers of it. And thank you for the hearts. And this in no way is against, there's a lot of jewelry resellers on YouTube. This is not against any of those. But what it's basically information that all Christian people need to know about. I mean, I felt like it was necessary. And sometimes, guys, the devil hides in the most obvious places. But I just really wanted to get that out there because I felt like it was necessary and that people need to be informed, especially Christian people, because Satan and his what I refer to as minions are always looking that angle to get into your life through the most simplest of items. And however, we might be innocent, but we just do not know what certain jewelry brands and that contain these demonic and divination. That's a big one where you are paying homage to something that you may not have any idea of, but you may have. So, what I wanted to say first is a big thank you to those veterans out there. This is Veterans Day, and to thank them for the ultimate sacrifice. And when they say home of the free because of the brave, that sums it up. I pray for those people that are currently in the military, that have served years ago, the loved ones that are dealing with that loss, and things like that. And war is not, no one wants war, but sometimes it's necessary to think about it. There are many countries that are under a totalitarian regime and that they control everything. And thank God that we live in America where we can choose our own religion and not be into something that's totally wrong. We have so many rights, guys, because of the brave men and women that sacrificed everything for us. And, it just kind of reminds me it's not the same, but it's in the same spectrum of, Jesus sacrificed his life for us on the cross. And we really need to remember that sacrifice because, it made us to have an avenue of not knowing that second death, but being in an eternity with him, which that's what we all strive for. Are we perfect? No, we're not. We are not perfect. We are only made perfect by the blood of Christ. And we must remember that great sacrifice that was made for us and everyone. And we're all sinners. Let's face it. We are all sinners. We all sin and fall short of the glory of God, but there is forgiveness in his name. There is forgiveness. And also, I wanted to Brian probably can't be here today because his brother fell and he hurt his neck and his back. And before that, he had pneumonia. So let's keep his brother's name is Mark. Let's keep him in our prayers, guys. I know what it is to fall. And the things that hurt afterwards are like, it happened so fast. It really is. And thank you, Laura. And the pain associated. And as we get older, those falls can become more dangerous, So, yeah, we need to. I told Brian that. And at the end of this, we will pray for him specifically. And I told him, I was thinking in my mind, Brian is a wonderful Christian man and he takes care of people. And I feel like it is an honor and a privilege to have him in my life, even though he's miles away. Because I told him, I said, I see a good man and I love what I see. And it's just amazing how an online platform can bring people together. You know, sometimes there are division lines drawn. It's not right. People dwell on things, and that are they really important at the end of the day? Is it worth you boiling on the inside when you can let it go, give it to God? He already knows what's going on. He already knows. And even though the trials may be many and there's a lot of frustration, just hang on because God, He's there and He wants to be part of your life. He knows what happened, He knows what you're going through. And sometimes He tests us, and sometimes the tests are very painful, guys. But He wants to know that we depend upon Him solely for everything, guys, not just these things, these small things, the bigger things. So we're going to get into this. This is the 5 jewelry brands that are associated with the demonic images and demonic practices. So the very first one, which really floored me, is Pandora Jewelry. And Pandora Jewelry was created in Denmark in 1982. And it does deal in ancient divination with cult like control because, people do collect it. And I think in the middle of the collecting, it's okay to collect something as long as you do not pay homage to that piece and put it above other people. And it really surprised me. And to further back that up, in Ephesians, we do see that we fight against the flesh, the flesh and other things, and it affects our as Christians that we may be wearing something that is totally against God's law. There are different symbols in that jewelry. They do have jewelry that celebrates certain occasions, but there's Hindus, elephants, and things like that. And it just challenges our Christian faith. And sometimes, guys, we enter into this very innocently because we believe it's fashion. Yes, it's fashion with a purpose, that it causes people to spend all kinds of money on this thing that's connected with dark things, and it's all in the Bible about this. And when we put a material thing in front of God, that's where the problem comes in. And Pandora, we know about her in the Bible, and she was in direct rebellion against God. So really, where Pandora's box, and she was strictly against anything godly and holy, and she caused a lot of problems. And we must realize that, and there's pagan imagery, and they are deliberately incorporating many symbols in jewelry, pagan rituals, occult practice into their designs. And like I said, people think that it's actually spiritual deception, and it should really not be, mythological people and stuff like that, even though we may be wearing it and not really realize the connection between that and the dark side. And I was really blown away. I remember the only Pandora I had, I sold it. I mean, at the time, I didn't know the connection with these things, but yeah, Pandora in the Bible, we all remember her. She was about rebellion against God's laws, and she practiced it quite a bit. And the next one is Alex and Annie, which Alex and Annie deal with the New Age religion, which consists of cosmic energy, not God, but cosmic. When we get into cosmic, it's kind of like going into a wizardry type thing, and it's not good. And that's just number two of the, and they do contain, and the thing of it is, it kind of gives the impression to the buyer that you can channel cosmic energy, and not giving the glory to God and the things that He has for us in our life. We cannot live in the darkness, because there's a difference between darkness and light. And yes, Alex and Annie does have sterling silver pieces, but I just felt like bringing this because I felt it was important to know that, and they have chakra things on there. The lotus flower is another thing. And it just, and then some of these jewelry brands hide their divinity in things like faith, blessing, and love when it's not exactly what it seems. And this is the devil's tool. The devil uses something so simple to draw you in and think, well, how bad could it be? But if we look further into it, we know that, God holds our future in His hand, and we are not to depend on a piece of jewelry to make, cast spells or do something like that, because it's witchcraft. And it does have to do with idolatry as well. And, a pentagram is not a good thing, no matter how you slice it. It's not a good thing. And there's Tanya. Welcome in, sweetie. It's not a good thing. When you see that star and you can identify that as a pentagram, and we know what pentagrams are associated with. And when we're wearing something that gets away from God and deals in the mystical practices, that's not good. And we're totally innocent of it, guys. We all are innocent of it. It's not, and we have Islam and Buddhism and stuff like that. And I'm not saying anything against any jewelry person on YouTube. I'm just claiming the things that can be very dangerous in a Christian's life. And Let's move ahead. There's one that particularly, let's see here, guys. Let me back this up. There was so much information I could not, unless I do shorthand. I was never a good typist. Thank you, Tanya. Vivian Westwood. She has satanic imagery and rebellion. I never even heard of the lady. And openly will have upside down crosses, which we know, guys, is a mockery of Christ, because, we know that Christ died on the cross for us. And when you see an upside down cross, you probably want to get away from it, because it's not Vivian Westwood. It's not a good thing. And that is number 3. And we need to really, she uses the crosses not as expressions of faith, but mockery of the God that we know died on that cross 2,000 years ago for our sins. And it's just, and it celebrates anarchy as well, and traditional Christian values. Anything with a pentagram or upside down cross is evil right off the bat. You want to stay away from it. And the thing of it is, this particular, hey Doug, welcome in. And this particular maker is worn by celebrities and all around the world. And we know that celebrities are very, very influential in people's lives. Everybody wants to be a celebrity. And often we mimic that, and not knowing that how dangerous it is, and that it can cause all kinds of problems. And it really can. And a lot of your Gothic jewelry has that same thing, the fascination with the skulls, the fascination with death, and things like that. We can't be in an area where, God holds our very life in his hands. We cannot be oblivious. Manifestation, thank you, Tanya, that, and I'm telling you right now, Satan does have dominions on this earth. And there are demons. And you know what, guys? Demons do not need an avenue to come into your life. And just like God himself, demons study our behavior. And all that sounds way off. But they do, and they know what attracts us the most. And they have all the time in the world, and they're biding their time to get you in a position where you're going to sin and you don't even know it, and things like that. We have to really look at things that in that light, guys. And if someone thinks that Satan is not real, they're wrong. He's right down here today. Look at what's going on in the world around us. Look at what things that the very simple things that look so like no big deal. Yes, it is a big deal, especially when you're dealing with things that lean toward the occult practices. And like I said, it starts out itty bitty. Thank you, Doug. It starts out little bitty. And before you know it, and see, this is another thing. This is something that I'm so afraid of, guys. Satan likes to work, especially with young people, introducing things into their life that he knows that will lead them down the wrong path. He wants to get the innocent and mold them into what he wants them to be, get them to sin and form an allegiance to him instead of God himself. Because the children are absolutely our future, and we do need to instill those good qualities into them and let them know right from grooming right. We have to let them know that even though this necklace with this upside down cross and the skull in the middle of it may appear harmless, but it is a cult, and it is directly mocking the sacrifice of Christ. And you want to stay away from it. I mean, it might seem fashionable and whatever, but if it invites a demon into your life, you might want to get rid of it. And not only would it do that, it would affect your family members. Because when Satan infiltrates something, he goes for the gusto. He wants to destroy as many souls as he can because he knows his time is short, and he does come with great fury. Yeah, sweet and innocent. She's a music mogul, and people, I'm glad you brought that up, because when you worship a human being, and it doesn't matter what it is, it starts in little bitty, and then it creates a space for Satan to jump right in there, because you are absolutely paying homage to a human being, and God is God no matter what. And we must remember that, instilling those good values in our children. And if they come to you with something like that, look at this. Don't make excuses, guys. You know what you were taught. You know what is good and what is not good. And you really have to say, hey, look, this is wrong. This upside down cross is mocking Jesus Christ. And the skull is a fascination with death. And that is totally Satan's playground. And oh my gosh, I stepped on Elfie's hand, guys. Hang on. You can sing later, like after Christmas. But anyway, let's move on. I'm having to refer to this video. And a lot of this stuff is done deliberately because we live in a world of material things. There's nothing wrong with owning something, but if you put that above God and everything that he stands for, God is love and he is light. But there's darkness out there, guys, and I'm not saying that to scare anybody, but there is darkness, and we have to avoid that, because the devil hides in every corner waiting for his opportunity to strike, and he does have what I call minions. And we really have to, you got celebrities, they're wearing this piece of jewelry, and it's so exciting, and you lose your thought, and you get so enthralled in the fashion of things that you don't realize what's going on, and then you try to mimic that. I know a lot of people that try to mimic the stars. Right, a constant spiritual battle is absolutely happening between good and evil. And Laura has mentioned that to me before, and it's really scary, guys, to know that we live in a world that evil is literally right around the corner waiting for us. And the only way to keep that at bay is put on that full armor of God, because we need it, guys, because the devil throws his darts and he's aiming for your heart. And I'm telling you, it's not a good thing. When, we talked about the punk rock thing, and it's very popular amongst young people. I'm not telling people what to do in no form or fashion, because everyone has a choice. Just like with God, you have a choice. With Satan, you don't have any, because he will prod and poke you every day of your life to get you to do the absolute wrong thing. And, people think, well, it's expressing style and this person's wearing it. Like your mama said, if your friend jumped off a bridge, would you do it? No, you probably wouldn't. So you need not try to mimic these things because, let me move along here, guys. This was so long that I couldn't write it down. Let me go back here. And thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. Let's see here. Let me catch this next one. But everything that you need to know, if you have any questions, go to the Bible, and it says no deities, no Ouija boards, and no tarot cards. Guys, I could tell you a story. It's not a story, it's a truth, about a friend of mine that had those. And maybe one day I'll tell you. It's very lengthy, but it resulted in a death. So really think about that. Just like the Ouija board and stuff, they think it's a game. No, it's not. It's a doorway to be opened into the dark side. And the devil does not play games, and he will not play games. But I'm having to refer, guys. I mean, I couldn't believe what I was seeing, and I had to share it. Let's see. And the thing of it is, there are some churches out there that wear this jewelry that is direct. I know this sounds way out there, directed with the occult. And sometimes, guys, it's hard to find a church that, and I know this because I've been through it, that goes directly by the book, the Bible, and its teachings that do not deviate. There's too many buddies in churches. Now, if you're going to be in a church, everyone is equal in the eyes of God. Don't play favorites and let somebody do something to another person and you overlook it because you're friends. It's wrong, and I've seen it. If you are not going out of that Bible and making your own rules, the ministers are in a lot of those who have the title of a minister that preach things that are not correct are in a lot of trouble, and there's really heavy prices to pay for that. And like I said, this is not against jewelry sellers. It's information. And another one is Kendra. That was the New Age jewelry. Another one is Kendra Scott. Now, we know that God did create beautiful gemstones on this earth for us not to go out in the moonlight and charge them, to rely upon these stones for your health and things like that. It's against God's law. And yes, there were stones in the breastplate of a biblical figure. But that doesn't mean that you set up a shrine with all these stones and pay homage to them. Remember what we talked about, guys, that these idols and things they have eyes but do not see, and have ears but do not hear. That's why, it's totally, and this with the charging of the stones and Kendra Scott is very dangerous. It is of the worst thing. There's nothing wrong with owning gemstones. They are beautiful and things like that. But when you say that, gee, I'm going to get this gemstone over here and I'm going to charge it and it's going to heal me. No, you can't do that because it is idolism and it's a form of blasphemy. Why is it a form of blasphemy? Because you're not depending on God to heal you and change things in your life, guys. And it's totally wrong And, we have to refrain from that. We really do. And a stone will not heal you, it will not bring you good luck and fortune, and things like that. It won't do it. The only one that can bring you things is God Himself. And we do that through prayer and supplication. God knows what you're going through, He knows what you went through, and He gives you an avenue to be able to. But yes, Kendra Scott has often promoted this stone. Stone igniting or whatever, and there's not, it's evil, guys. We can only enjoy gemstones in God's creation and look forward to seeing more in heaven that we can't even imagine their beauty. Yes, Laura, to walk on streets of gold, I could just imagine the vibrancy of heaven and things like that. And this is, guys, heaven is a reward of obedience. Now, are we going to get tripped up? You darn right we're going to get tripped up. But we can go to God and pray about it, and He will enlighten you. Just like I was in a church, and I could see all these things going on. And one fateful day, me and the minister went around and around, and I looked at him, and I could see the totalitarian lineup of people, wanting to treat one better than the other. Mountains of amethyst and gemstones. Yes. It's just what a wonderful thing that would be, guys, to know that after all the suffering, the trials, the tribulations that we went through on this earth, heaven awaits us as long as we keep those commandments and try to do the right thing. God knows we're not perfect. The first sin originated in the Garden of Eden. So we were created in the image of man and so on and so forth. So that sin tendency was already established with Adam and Eve, and deception. And the serpent said, well, eat of this apple and you will be as wise as God. Well, first of all, it was more an ego thing on Eve's part, wanting to be more powerful and more knowledgeable. And so that's just all part of the devil's tricks that he uses to lure people in. And she thought, probably in her mind, she goes, oh my goodness, I'll be as intelligent and all-knowing as God. And he deals with the ego of people. And boy, did they get in trouble with that. But just like after Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt, which they were in bondage for 400 years, and they brought upon all the plagues on Egypt, and then as they were leaving, the Roman chariots were right behind them, because quite frankly, you can't take the word of what was his name? Caesar. So as they were heading toward that ocean, and with the chariots right behind them with all intent of killing them, Moses parted the Red Sea and they were able to escape. But once they escaped, they were still complaining to Moses, why did you bring us out of Egypt only for us to die? And see, they forgot about the miraculous thing that was brought forth by parting the Red Sea, and that their bondage was over with, and they were still complaining. And then they cast idols and things like that, and they were punished for the idols and everything like that. And incidentally, that was the time that Moses went up on that mountain and brought down the 10 Commandments. And even though they're being in bondage for 400 years, and being brought out of that should have been enough for their faith to have taken hold. But we're human, guys, and you need to have that faith to know that even though trials and tribulations come, but there is always that big bright light, which is God Himself, that leads us out of our dark times. We need to pray and pray without ceasing, to know to keep our faith in the right spot, even when things are going wrong, guys. It things seems like things are going wrong. It's boom, 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 one thing after the other. And we cry out to God, God, why me? First of all, sometimes we bring upon things upon ourselves. And a lot of people blame God for their problems. Well, God didn't tell you to do something wrong because God is good. God is not capable of sin, guys. But He is capable of releasing you from that sin that has really kept you down and you don't realize it, that it's kept you down. And then when you go to the Lord in prayer and open up this Bible and read the words in it, that God makes everything crystal clear to us, guys. We are not perfect by any means. Perfection is truly on the other side, but we need to know that there's nothing that you have done that you cannot go and ask forgiveness for. God is a mighty God. God is a merciful God, and people make mistakes. We are human. We are led by human desires and things like that. But it doesn't mean that we have to be condemned to hell. And I'm telling you, it's not a good place because you suffer an eternity. It's either go with God or Satan, because we have to make our minds up who our master is, because there's a big difference between light and dark. And where light is, dark cannot exist. And we have to really focus on that big picture, that we know God is ever present in our lives. And I'm not going to mention any names, but someone sent me an email, and guys, I prayed about this, about tarot cards, and asked me if it was against God's word. And guys, I prayed about it. I knew it was going on. I knew that this person was interested, and I said, oh God, please. And I told her that it is in direct rebellion against God's word and everything it stands for, and that could have a negative effect on you as well as the people around you. And guys, that was God. I mean, the person knew that I had the channel, and they came to me. Not that I'm anything special. Let's not get it twisted. But I do know about the Bible and the dangers of these things. And I knew that it was God that sent her to me, because God does work through people just like Satan does. And while we're on the subject of tarot cards, I've got to tell you guys, it's not a story, it's the truth. A friend of mine that I've known for quite a while, which is a Christian, guys, there was a person in her family way back in generations that was a practicing warlock. And yes, there were tarot cards that person had. And something is totally evil and these cards were locked in a lockbox at the bank. Well, while this specific person was there, she unlocked, and this is true, guys, she unlocked that box, and that thing shot out. And I'm not kidding. It shot, because these cards are evil, guys, and they're nothing to be taken lightly. And it shot out. And there is a death card in that stack as well as other things. And I'm telling you the truth, guys, that it slid out. The whole thing came out and hit the wall. because these cards are evil, guys. I'm telling you. And here's the sad part, guys. You know, the thing of it is, tarot cards should be burnt, because even in biblical times, the the fire is a cleansing mode. And you know, we don't know what's in our families or who did what, but there was a friend of mine's, they took the death card out and they buried it. And when they went back to get that, guess where that card, to get those cards, guess where that card was? Hey, Nana, honey, welcome. Guess where the death card was? Right back in the deck. So later that afternoon, this lady's husband was on a motorcycle coming home. Yes, it is, and he was killed, guys. He was killed. She had 3 children. One of them was special needs. He was killed. So I know it's creepy, Nana, but it's true. I'm telling you, I cannot stress enough the negativity of tarot cards. This guy was hit by someone and killed. Was it connected to the tarot cards? You know, we all have an expiration date, but her niece took those cards up to a state forest and burnt them. She burnt them. And guys, that is the only way to get rid of evil, is through fire. And you do know that a lot in your Bible that a lot of cleansing was done with fire. And you know, it's dangerous, guys. And I had to tell you that story, and I had to condense it because I want you to know what can happen as a result of something that I think a lot of times it comes with being curious. We're curious, okay? And sometimes that curiosity leads us in the wrong direction. And it's harmless. It's just cards. You know what you do when you fool with tarot cards or Ouija boards? You are opening a doorway for demons to come right through it. And once they come through that door, your life and the lives of your loved ones will never be the same. And then I talked about there's a house that's not too far from the friend of mine's that had went through many owners, and it was sold, and there was a pentagram burnt in the upstairs of that room. And I tell you, and still, even when that house was empty, there were young people seen going into that, which probably was one of the owner's daughters, going into that house with people in dark clothing with lights flickering and stuff like that. And I remember she told me that the neighbor took her in and she showed it to her. And she said, we can cover it with carpet. And my friend looked at her, which is a Christian, and she said, no, you have to leave. You have to leave this house. It's cursed by that pentagram. There's no telling what kind of evil is in this house. Well, she didn't listen. And here's what happened. She was married to this man and he had kids. Well, she ran off all of them and things like that. She caused all kinds of things in the neighborhood. People will not, if they see her coming, they won't open their door. She caused all kinds of misery, and she did evil things, guys, to the neighbors and things like that. And it's not a good thing. And that's the only way that I could really get that point across, because just like this jewelry, is connected with Satanism and occult practices. So I think that as long as anyone lives in that house, there's going to be turmoil and things like that. And the poor guy, I mean, my friends are woken up almost every night with fighting, curse words, and things like that. And it's terrible. And the only reason why that guy hangs around is because everything is in her name. He would have nothing. And she planned it like that. And it's awful, guys. And you guys don't know that I'm not going to reveal. Of course, you wouldn't know them anyway because they live around here. But I'm just telling you that something as simple as a piece of jewelry with a name brand like Pandora, Alex and Ani, the new age jewelry, and Kendra Scott. Don't ever think that you can take a stone and charge it and it's going to heal you. Tell you what it will do, it will bring demons right into your life, and you got to deal with them. And they have this take no prisoner attitude. And that's why I really felt like this was important, guys. I come across it on YouTube and really felt like it was pertinent. It's because those things that are hidden from us, guys, that invite demons into our lives is not good. They're out there anyway, lurking, just like your mediums. I mean, here's the best way to explain it. Mediums are involved in the occult, so naturally they have demons working for them. And they may get, and I know that sounds weird, but it's true. So if you go to a psychic and they know all this stuff about you and you're sitting there in awe, because the demons, after all, know everything about you because they've been watching you the whole time. Now, I'm not saying that to scare anybody, but we do know evil does lurk on this world. And you go to this psychic medium and she's dead on. And then you're wondering, how did she know that? Well, demons know a lot as well. And here's the allure. And sometimes these psychics bring good news and stuff like that. And the reason why a lot of people go to these psychics is because they're having a problem or they want to contact a loved one. You know who they're really contacting? The devil himself. And yes, he does know things. He knows a lot of things. And you become so enthralled with finding answers to things. And that's the allure, guys. You say, well, gee, that person was right. What else do they know? So it becomes an habitual habit. You keep going back and back and back because you're wanting hope. That's what you're looking for. You're wanting a way out of what you're going through. You want answers. You're not waiting on God to reveal that to you. So you're going to a psychic that is totally against God's law, that could get you in hot water really fast. But it's about the addictive power of some of these things, guys. If you want to know about your life, go to the Bible, read it, and pray. If you're having trials and tribulations, pray about it. There is no psychic ever lived has solved any problem to begin with, and they won't. All their thing is to keep you coming back and back and getting you further into that sin that the devil revels in, guys. I'm telling you. The devil revels every time you seek a psychic full with tarot cards, full with a Ouija board, and things like that, because he now has an opening in your life that you gave him, thinking that, oh, what can it hurt? It's only cards, da da da. But it's a bad thing, guys, I'm telling you. And You don't want to open a doorway that you can, just like, the Ouija boards, you're opening a demonic doorway for that evil to come through and affect your life, because you had a choice. Either you could not fool with it, stay away from anybody that deals with it, because if they're dragging that thing out, they're dealing in the occult, and you don't want that. Any mystical spells, talismans, or anything like that, they're wrong, especially if you are focusing on using a talisman to bring bad things on other people. And that is a witch right there. Plain and simple. That is a witch. And they say, well, there's white witches. No, there's white, all right. So they can deceive you in looking like light. The angel cards are wrong as well. They are predicting the future. They are doing this, that, or the other, and they're wrong. Those are wrong too. Those should be burnt. The burning is a purification to get rid of evil, and it's been used in the Bible as well, guys. And we live in a world today where people are hurting and they're looking for answers, and they're wanting immediate gratification. They don't want to pray to God, because God works in his own time, and you're not going to be given anything unless it's good and just. And sometimes, guys, when we pray, there's so many lessons. When we pray for something, there's lessons along the way. We have to analyze those reasons, and to know that God does answer prayers, and he doesn't scorn the petition of the humblest of thy servants. He doesn't. He is a loving God. He wants his children to be happy. He wants to bring blessings in your life, but it's not going to happen with a pair of tarot cards or a Ouija board or a piece of jewelry that promotes Satanism and ritualistic things. It's not going to happen, guys. And one thing about the Bible is very multifaceted, and it brings one subject leads to another, so on and so forth. And I'm telling you guys, there's not one word in this Bible that contradicts itself. You will not find it. It is all very, very copacetic in every chapter. And it's just an amazing composition of faith and hope that can bring anyone out of that darkness that they're feeling. And another thing I wanted to talk about, I know I kind of jump around on subjects, but I feel like sometimes I'm being led to this. Now, we know the holidays are coming up, and there will be people that are no longer with us, that have lost loved ones, and still feel the pain from that, guys. And my thing is, if you know someone that has lost someone, reach out to them, guys. Send them a "I'm thinking of you" card and things like that. And sometimes, guys, some people really, the things that destroy us is the things we hold right here. And my advice is, send them a card, send them an email, let them know you're thinking about them, because, guys, depression is a dark place that none of us want to be in. And just tell somebody you love them. It's that simple. It's a thing that you outreach to someone else to let them know that they are not alone. And the next series is going to be holidays and the loss of loved ones and grief. And people deal with grief differently. Some people keep it inside, some people go into a depression, and some people just do not really want to go there because it's painful. Emotions, here's how I look at it. If you get slapped in the face, you can get over it. But something dealing in direct emotions, that's hard, guys. And just let people know that you're thinking about them and that you love them. And if they want to talk to you, offer that, guys. Just like me, if you want to have a conversation with me, just send me an email and I'll send you my direct phone. And if we need to pray together, we can. Not that I'm anything special, but I do know what God has to offer. And just to sit and pray with that person, it brings so much relief, guys. It does, because it opens up God's love and reflects that out into this world, And, I know that, as long as we live, we're going to lose those people that we love dearly. And sometimes our emotions, we don't want them to come out because, like I said, it hurts. But just be that light in that person's life. Don't push. Do not push. If you really want to turn something against something, don't push. Let them ask you. Give them the love and the support that they need. And if they have a question or a concern, don't push it because it turns them off. Just be a good listener. Be the person there that knows that there is no judgment, that you're going to listen, that you actually love them, and what they're going through, you want to help them with, guys, because it's really hard out there to really know that the physical pain, the mental pain of losing someone it's staggering, guys, and it's hard to deal with. And sometimes we can put these traumatic events out of our mind, but it's still in the back of our mind. And thank you, Doug. And things bring these things forward, guys. Just the slightest little memory brings them out, guys. And guys, as a lot of you know, was a caregiver for 9 years, and I had this lady. She hurt every day she lived. She was a Christian and things like that. And I loved her and she loved me. There was it was obvious, guys. I can't help it. And I remember one day she came, I was doing household things in her house, and she came home, little bitty tiny woman. She sat down beside me. She laid her head right there, and she goes, "I'm so tired of these doctors." And I just kind of held her and said, "I know you're in a lot of pain and you have to see a lot of doctors, but I'm here." And she laid her little head right there. And it makes me kind of sorry, guys, but stop it. Give me a moment, guys. I did. Never mind. Let me get my act together. And I just held her and said, "Hey, I'm here." I hate to be such a sensitive person, but excuse me. Sorry, guys. Never did I think I would get tearful on an online platform, but I'm human and I'm very loving. So let me get my act together here. But let's see some heart. Thank you, whoever sent. So thank you for those. I'm still emotional, guys. This is no, it's human emotion. But see, it's still affecting me. No. I cannot stand to show emotion, guys. I can't. It, and I she was just the, she. I can't talk about the rest of it, guys. I'm getting teary eyed for real. But I was just glad that I was able to be there. And guys, I think, let's see, let me see when she passed. I think that it was pretty close to this time, guys. And I hate to be blubbery, and I don't like to show emotion, and that's terrible. So, but we need to be really grateful for those people around us. And yes, we do lose people. But you know what? There's, like I said, reach out to these people that need that positive affirmation that they are loved. And, it's, that they are loved and you really care about their oh my gosh, their well-being, guys. It just a phone call, an email, an understanding, a listening ear, and a love. Oh my gosh, and a loving heart. Yes, Laura. See, even the toughest of us have emotions, right? We're all human, and boys, that's true. That's true, Laura. And only Laura know. Oh my God. And only Laura knows about that. See, I'm kind of this private person that if I open up to you, I really love you. If I do. Here, let me get my act together here. Actually, I think it's a culmination oh, of a lot of things, guys. I really do. And sometimes, guys, you can be so strong for so long, and it just lands on you like a ton of bricks. It really does. And those out there that have lost loved ones, I know how you feel. I can feel, one of my God given things is I can't even think. Discernment. And and it's not anything evil or witchy. I can feel the emotions of other people. And I've been like this for ever since the first time I realized it, I was in my 20s. And I don't know. So since I'm blubbering up here, let's let's go to the Lord in silent prayer and keep Brian's brother Mark in your prayers. And if there's anyone out there that's going through struggles right now and it just seems like the world's, spinning and you want to get off of it. So we're going to have to go in silent prayer, guys, because I, I couldn't get through it without, So let's go to the Lord in prayer. Thank you, Laura. Man, I didn't know I was going to break down. I guess that just means I'm human, right? And guys, I truly believe it is not by accident you're here, that you're all here for a reason. And I didn't expect to get teary eyed, but what can I say? I'm human. I've always kind of been the type of person that kind of was strong for everyone else. I've always been like that, but there comes a time when, you know what? I may set this to private. No, I'm not going to set it to private. Because, yes, I'm human, and yes, I do have emotions. So I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that this message gets out, not as a judgmental message, but as a message of protecting yourself from those forces that are out there that really want to see us go down a rabbit hole. So I love you guys. Do not forget that thumbs up. Share this video. Oh, I love you too. Share this video because I think people should be aware of the dark things out there. And you guys have a great rest of your day. Love you guys. And next one will be dealing with grief during the holidays after the loss of a loved one. You guys have a blessed rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here. Love you guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye, and thank you for the hearts. Doug, there goes those emotions, and thank you for being here, and thank you for the hearts. I better get off of here before I start again. Thank you so much for being here.